it seems like they're clearly laying the predicate for them to do exactly what you just described and just not care and just drive right through it. I wonder, Trump is obviously always someone who wants an empowered executive, and the court system has been stacked with lots of Trump loyalists. But you're getting at a tension, which I think is pretty interesting to me, at least intellectually, is Elon has been able to get away with a lot in the courts. And, I still think about all the cases he's won that suggest these are not really guardrails, at least on Elon as a private sector individual. And I think one of the big questions of Elon's entire work here is will this time be different because it's in the public sector? There are Elon has had lots of success in the private sector, but there are unique things about, doing this, especially with, the legal system, and this invincibility that Elon has sort of brought to all his kind of corporate work. Does that hold up when you are trying to do this in the public sector? And, Elon would say the public sector should be more like the private sector, yada, yada, yada. But I'm curious whether or not there are additional guardrails that kind of keep him restrained, maybe unfairly in his view, that have not restrained him to date.
I mean, what was extraordinary, or part of what was extraordinary to me over the weekend, was when Elon started criticizing the orders, including in Washington. One of the restraining orders in a separate case was handed down by Judge Carl Nichols, who is a Trump-appointed federal district judge who, and people, I guess, if you're not tracking it, don't realize this, but he was the judge that laid the groundwork for Trump to be able to go to the Supreme Court and get out of and get his Supreme Court immunity case in his criminal prosecutions. And when Elon criticized Nichols, it set off this chain reaction that ultimately culminated in Mike Davis, who is one of these Trump legal advisors, saying, Nichols has to go. Like, Nichols, this super conservative judge who clerked for Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas, among other people, he was a product of big law, and now you're standing in the way of the president, and he had to go. And I wonder if kind of Elon is already remaking how Washington sees kind of even really conservative judges on the federal bench. It's quite an interesting concept that I was grappling with Sunday night, and to your point, I think we have to see how it goes. But it's